Winfield.
Yes, Madam President, I won't be long. I just feel like we shouldn't finish this before a slightly different perspective is offered here. I heard in a lot of the discussion about how all of the concerns have been taken into account. I'm not sure that's true. I've been working with Senator Maroney for the last few years because of the fact that this is an emerging technology. It is moving fast, and there are concerns that generally don't get taken into account when we do most of the things we do. And the concerns that I focus mostly on were the concerns about the way that we deal with that algorithmic discrimination. Well, clearly the bill we have is not the bill I had imagined we would have. And clearly the bill we have is not the bill that some of my colleagues who are in the Black and Puerto Rican caucus, for instance, thought we were going to have. And if we're going to talk about the concerns of all of the folks around this August chamber and the one downstairs, we make up a little bit over 20% of this building. So everybody's concerns have not been addressed. Never does happen. When you talk about AI, you talk about bias that gets into our AI systems because of the large data sets that we have and the bias that's built into those. You talk about the inputs, the training that AI works off of has bias built in there. And there's always the human bias. So in multiple ways, bias creeps in. What did we do about it in this bill? What we did was we walked back off of the protections we had. And let's talk about those protections, because those protections weren't just, you did something bad, here's your punishment. It was, you get an opportunity to fix it. We walked back off of that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know, Madam President, I have to say that at nearly every moment in my life as I take a breath, whether I'm breathing in or breathing out, I realize in ways that I don't even realize those breaths, that this skin has deep meaning and my experience has deep meaning. It's a difference. It's important. And I know better because I've been down this path before, but here I was holding my breath saying, we're going to do the right thing. Now I'm old enough to have known better. I should have known that we would walk backwards and do something that, with all due respect, I think the good senator has done a great job for the last few years fighting and trying to figure out how do we move forward, but just almost does nothing on this question. So it's almost offensive to me to hear all of the concerns have been addressed, because what is probably the most important concern here has not been addressed. But it's okay, right? Because the way we function is business, 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 business. And business is important, but so are people. And what we are saying here is people are going to be trampled potentially. And it's okay, because we don't see ourselves generally as the people who are going to be trampled. But I have no choice but to see myself as potentially one of the people who gets trampled, because I've always been one of the people that gets trampled. So I'm voting for this bill. But let's not fool ourselves. This bill has a glaring hole in it. And it's the same hole that just about every policy we do in this building has as a whole. But broken people and broken lives are often the cost of business. I just hope we don't break too many people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.